take me backstage 10 years ago, WrestleMania 31, your music's about to hit.
Yeah.
And you're about to cash in. What's going through your mind?
Gosh, there might be like a camera footage of this somewhere, but I'm just sitting in this chair right outside of the curtain in Gorilla. It was a smaller Gorilla at the time. We hadn't expanded it to this big one yet. And I remember Michael Hayes is in the producer's seat, and Hunter and Vince are like on the far side. And I want to say there was panic about the time because we were still like on pay-per-view. And so there was like, we have to be off. We have to be off at this time, you know? And so it wasn't like an option to overrun. Like on Peacock, you know, it's streaming. It's this kind of, they want a certain time period.
Yeah,
but it's
same
just,
with Netflix.
Yeah. It's these streaming, they're awesome because of that. You can just, you know, you get a little window and it's not, you're not strict. Because the advertising model's a little different. So it's like, but at the time we had to be off, done. And so I remember sitting there and like thinking, oh shoot, they're not going to make it. Like we're going to have to do this tomorrow. Like that's what I was thinking. I was just, if it doesn't work, we'll just do it tomorrow. You know, just hoping that my idea doesn't go up in smoke. And so, fortunately, you know, they are professionals and they hit their cue when they needed to. And again, the rest is history.
So this was your idea?
The idea to cash in the contract at WrestleMania was my idea. Yes, I had I don't know. I had put it into the ether probably 2 months prior or so. Because you remember I win this thing in like July or June. And immediately when you win it, you look at the landscape and you go, okay, when can I cash this in? At the time, if I'm not mistaken, there was only one world championship, right? And the champion was Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
And you looked at, okay, Brock wrestles like twice a year. When are you going to cash this thing in on Brock Lesnar? Is Brock Lesnar going to allow you to cash it in on him? What circumstances would be the best for this? And then you start to go down the months, okay? And then, again, you take off all the shows that Brock's not going to be on. So you look at SummerSlam, probably not going to happen. You look at Survivor Series, if he's there. And then it's like maybe Rumble, Mania, and then you've got like that little window after Mania where maybe, you know, so you start to like plot it out in your head. And the major point for me as I was kind of going along with that was the Royal Rumble earlier that year. I did a triple threat match with Brock Lesnar and John Cena. And I kind of had to like, I don't want to say weasel my way into that, but that was initially meant to be John, Brock 3 or 4, maybe. Like they were in a series of matches.
Yeah.
And the audience was kind of getting a little tired of it. You know, not to say that those guys aren't incredible. They are, but you do the same thing. And Brock wasn't around to sell the story that much. He would just kind of show up. And, you know, when he did, he was a huge attraction, especially at that time. But I think the audience was getting a little bit bored of it. And I was like, well, what does it hurt? I don't need to be in the Rumble because I've got this briefcase. So, you know, why would I win 2 title matches? That doesn't make any sense. I don't want to be off the show. I'm like, just throw me into that triple threat, you know? Like I can mix in there good. It'll change the whole dynamic of the thing up and like, let's just see what happens, you know? We ended up having a really great triple threat and a really good dynamic. That was the first time I think I worked with Brock, really. So he got to see how my mind works a little bit. So got to kind of create some, you know, little touches of respect there. And then later that night, Roman wins the Royal Rumble to a chorus of boos. Even The Rock comes out afterwards or during to try to endorse him, and it just did not matter.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this isn't good. I was like, this isn't good. You don't want to give him this title at WrestleMania. Like, if he gets booed out of the building there when he wins the title the first time, then, you know what I mean? Like, that's not good. So I'm like, I'm a hated villain at this time. Like, if I win the title, then we can give the audience time to understand the story, who the good guy's supposed to be against me. You know, I'm not cool at all
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
point. I'm like, let me be the guy. Let me be the heel that can get what we want out of this change. And so I pitched the idea. I let it sit in the ether for a while, and then still, even the day of, obviously, I was doing the story with Randy Orton leading up to WrestleMania. Even still, till the after my match with Randy was the first confirmation I had gotten that we were going to go in that direction. I don't know whose idea the triple threat part of it was. I think my idea was just like a cash in after the match, but somebody came up with the triple threat idea in the interim once it was floating in the ether there, and it was a brilliant kind of way to do it that I'd never even considered.